What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and we're going to be a little bit quieter for today's YouTube video, not because I'm trying to do like ASMR or anything like that, but instead because it kind of feels like I'm losing my voice right now, or at least, I just have a sore throat or something along those lines, so I'm not trying to kill my voice absolutely, at least not yet. Anyways, with that said, in today's YouTube video, we'll be talking about a brand new balancing update that released yesterday in the game, which caused for some very interesting changes and another item to get the grenade/heavy sniper rifle treatment by being absolutely nerfed to the ground. So let's go ahead and dive into everything by firstly talking about the Kinetic Boomerang. So before this update, the Kinetic Boomerang was, doing a steady 60 damage whenever you hit a player with it, and it's actually been buffed. Instead of doing 60 damage to a player on hit, it now does 70 damage, so you'll get a little bit more damage out there instead of what you would get before. That just is a slight change that in some cases you won't really notice it or won't really mean too much, but in other cases it could be a game changer, allowing you to get that elimination that you might not have gotten if it did the 10 less damage prior to this update. And in terms of buffs, right, in terms of things that are slightly, different, that are actually good for the community and just good to have in the game overall, we actually have a buff for the Porta Bunker. I know what you're like, a Porta Bunker getting a buff, how is that even supposed to happen? Because you just yeet them on the ground, they build up a thing, and that's what you do. They call it a day there. Well, the Porta Bunker now stacks to stacks of 4 instead of stacks of 2, so now you can carry 4 Porta Bunkers in one slot. It still requires you to actually find 4 Porta Bunkers throughout the game and everything, considering they are pretty rare, at least in my experience on finding them, or maybe that's just because I always skip past them whenever I see them in game, but they are something you will be able to find in the game, and it is nice just to see that they're increasing, the amount of stack that you can have for them, considering that, previously, I wouldn't really see them used all too much, maybe in like some intense combat or whatever, especially in zero build, they would get used as a way to kind of have some portable cover and everything, so in zero build modes, I can see this as a major benefit just because you have more cover available to you, but in terms of like building enabled battle royale, I don't really see it being too much of a change to really, keep your eyes out on, knowing that, oh, there's more of these that I can carry at once. Shrug. But for our next two changes, that's when we start getting into the actually interesting territory of stuff that people are going to think is a little bit more controversial. So firstly, let's talk about the Heisted Breacher Shotgun. For anyone who doesn't remember where the shotgun is, it was a shotgun that released with, the whole Most Wanted update or whatever to Fortnite, and it was the Breacher Shotgun. So basically, whenever you would shoot a wall, it doesn't matter what it was, you could shoot basically anything and it would one-shot it and completely destroy that structure. Before this update, it would do 759 damage to all structures in the game with the bullet. However, after this update, it now only does 255 damage to structures. This means that while it can destroy wooden builds, it can no longer destroy brick or metal builds, and even environmental builds that used to be able to one-shot with this before, you won't be able to actually one-shot. So if we, for example, if we hit this right here, you see how it has 600 health? This can no longer one-shot this rock. It will do half of the damage to the rock, but it won't completely destroy it. So it's a little bit of an interesting change to see, especially for the weapon, designed to break structures. It's weird to see it getting the breacher, well, I guess not getting the breacher treatment, but getting the heavy sniper treatment and the treatment that the grenades have gotten, right? Because, the weapon's main purpose is destroy builds, but now it's destroy wooden builds. If you want to destroy other than wooden, tough luck, just get better, just walk around it. You might have better luck doing that or something. It's just a little bit of a weird situation. Now, I do understand that the Breacher Shotgun does have a quick reload, so you are able to rapidly kind of destroy those builds, but it is still at the same time very odd to see a weapon that was designed to destroy builds being nerfed so that it can't really destroy builds that easily. With this change, though, they also did make it so that the Heisted Breacher Shotgun is re-enabled in display cases, which are these things right here, in competitive modes, aka tournaments. So if you're someone who's been wanting to use the Breacher Shotgun in a tournament, use your 2 keys on it or whatever, those have been re-enabled, so you will be able to find it in the game and use them once again. And then for the final actual balancing change with today's little, balancing update or whatever, relates to wild wasp jars, which are those jars that you kind of yeet at players and, it's just wasp, right? It goes around, buzzes around, and deals some damage to players, and those have received some buffs and some nerfs. So firstly, let's talk about the nerf. The duration of the jar after you've thrown it at a player has been lowered from 15 seconds to 8.5 seconds, so now it lasts for around half the time it originally did. But the damage has been up from 8 seconds, not 8 seconds, but from 8 damage to 15 damage, and the thrown damage to build has been up from 25 damage to 30 40 damage, meaning that you'll now do more damage to players, you'll now do more damage to players' builds, but it lasts a little bit shorter. So it's a little bit of a mixed change, right, where it's like, okay, you deal more damage faster, but at the same time, it goes away faster as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in game to figure out if this is a good change or a bad change. But honestly, I think with how easy it is to kind of just run away from the wild wasp jars after they've been thrown, this is a good change, because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to get more damage out without having to worry so much about a player running away from you, just kind of, you know, dealing out damage with some wild wasps. With all that said, however, I would love to hear what you guys think about all these changes in the comments down below, so let me know, do you agree with, you know, the Breaster shotgun getting, like, the whole entire heavy sniper treatment? Do you wish that Epic Games would allow people to be able to break builds with weapons designed to break builds? Or are you somewhere in between regarding all that? In terms of, like, the Boomerang, for example, do you think it really needed to be buffed by 10 damage, or was it fine with the 60 damage it originally had, and it should have just stayed that way? Because I've seen people kind of talk about both of those things, you know, Breacher shotgun being nerfed, and then of course the Boomerang, it's like, this change wasn't needed because this change, you know, it's like the Boomerang already does a decent amount of damage, so it doesn't really need to become more or less powerful. But I would love to hear what my community thinks about it all down below. Anyways, with that said, my name's FireMonkey. Hope you champs and champettes enjoy the rest of your days. I am going to probably end this recording here and just kind of vibe for the rest of the night, maybe play some BattleBit Remastered, because I don't know if anyone's heard about that game, but it's basically like a bricky version of Battlefield, and it's honestly a lot of fun. So, and it's also probably why I lost my voice, if I'm being completely honest here, because I've been yelling way too much at that game. Maybe I'll throw in like a bonus clip or something at the end of this video so you guys can watch that. But with that said, I'll see you champs and champettes next time in another video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, and peace out.
Knock, knock.
Oh.
Hello, boys.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I'm in
hey,
front of
guys.
everyone.
Oh, stop touching me, bro.
Stop! You're in the
FireMonkey.
You're in the fucking
Really?